Hi everyone, I'm doing my next chapter of John Maxwell, and the leadership thought for today, I'm on day 3. It's a leader's intuition can add value to others. A leader of good judgment gives stability. An exploiting leader leaves a trail of waste. And that's from Proverbs 29:4. So again, John Maxwell is focusing in this on how Moses saw the problems of the people, and he told Joshua to leave them, to give them agency, help them to make their own decisions, and then the toughest cases can come to him. And he's also saying in this that leaders who have good leadership skills, they see things globally. They don't only focus on their own country, and they don't only focus on their own position, because we live in a world that's interconnected. The problems that are affecting other countries very quickly and very easily start to affect our own countries. And we see that in our world today. But he's talking in this book about Jethro, and that Jethro could see that Moses was heading for trouble if he carried on going the route that he was going. And he needed to keep the big picture in mind. So they helped each other, Moses and Jethro. They helped each other to look further ahead than their followers and the people that were following them, that were learning from them. And they wanted to build peace. So Moses' predicament was to help everyone to go in that direction. Leaders can see clearly. They provide a structure. So for me, I like to look at animals. Some of the time, when I learn, I look at how animals are. Whether it's the eagle that's in the air, or the hawk, or the wolf. And I like to study how they have their different, like the wolves have packs, and they have an alpha male or an alpha female. And each tribe or each animal type is always looking out for its own. It's looking for its own species, its own breed. And it's the same with us in our faith communities, in our space that we work in. We're building up our communities, we're building up our workplaces. If there's, like COVID showed us, if there's a disease that starts somewhere in China, very easily it can impact all of our workplaces. Yesterday I was watching the news, and I like to watch the news. Not everybody likes to watch the news, but I was watching the news, and they showed this plane that literally fell out of the sky. And I was just thinking that, like, imagine with this IT glitch that we had, where so many computers went down, hospitals could not function, our basic systems could not function, our banks. I was thinking about that when that happened, and said, imagine if that happens in a plane and you're traveling. It's pretty scary to see how interconnected things are, because we are all dependent on each other. And it's the same with our faith. For us who are Christians, we want people to all get to heaven. We want people to go the right way. I mean, when you look at animals, if you look at the worm that crawls on the ground compared to the bird that flies in the air, which one has more agency? It's the bird, obviously, because the bird can fly and it can go to another place, not the worm. The worm is like us. We're stuck here. If we have cars, yes, we might be lucky. If there's a tornado warning or there's a flash flood warning, we might be lucky, and the government might organize things to say, okay, this is definitely going to happen. We're going to move people from this place to another place. But sometimes there's no time. It just comes up right away. And that shows us how we are not in control, how God is in control. And then he brings the point that leadership, people who are in leadership, they see relationally and they provide support. And that's what Jethro and Moses were doing for each other. They were supporting each other on their faith journeys and in their positions in relationship to each other. So they were not competing, they were supporting each other. And Moses again would solve the toughest cases, and Jethro also. So once, that's how we do this, we call it succession planning in the workplace, right? So when new people come into the workplace, we train them, they shadow us, and then we get moved into more senior positions if we're lucky, if we're fortunate, and they take those more junior positions. Some of us, we train people, we mentor people, they go on to become big directors and executive directors, and we don't get those breaks. For some reason, we're just never selected. And then the fifth point John Maxwell makes is that they see expectantly, they provide confidence. So with intuition comes confidence. If things have happened before, then we can look at that and learn from it and try to plan for the future. But in some situations, like now with this great reset that we had, the majority of us are in low-paid work or we're unemployed. The majority of us have had contracts for our whole lives. The majority of us are in menial jobs. We're not in positions where we are earning what our leadership skills should demand. So we have to make the best of the mess that the political leaders have created. And yes, our elders are right. We're worthless, we're sponges. All we do is sit at home and we're unemployed and we sponge off them. But we also help them, and they forget that. When my mother was in Zimbabwe, I helped her towards keeping our home. We were going to lose that home. She couldn't afford to do it on her own. So we went out and we worked. Even as children in high school, we went out and we worked. So whatever money she's got from that sale of that house, it doesn't belong to her alone. It's also for us, because we also worked and we also helped her to keep that home. She didn't do it on her own. And then John Maxwell points out here, Moses trusted Jethro's advice. Scripture tells us Moses heeded the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he said. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way to his own land. So Jethro stayed long enough for Moses to implement his suggestions, and then he moved on, confident that everything would work out as planned. Jethro gained nothing from helping Moses become a leader. He wasn't rewarded. He didn't receive property. No songs were written about his leadership. His entire story occupies one short chapter in the Bible. The insight he shared from intuition was a gift he gave freely to add value to the lives of the Hebrew people. That's what great leaders do. And he asks the question, do you use your insight to add value to others? So we can use our insights, we can use what we've learned. If others don't want to learn and they don't want to listen to what we're saying, then it becomes like Noah's ark. We have to protect ourselves, get into that ark, and go with God. And if people don't want to listen, and they're more worried about their money and about their food and their clothes, and they're going to leave us knowing we have no money in our bank accounts, we can't provide for ourselves, all we can do is leave that in God's hands, because they forget how much support we gave them emotionally, financially, spiritually, prayers for them. All those things are there. They are part of the leadership journey. And if people don't want to remember that, and they only see the bad in us, they only think of that we are the ones who are bitter, when in fact it's them, then there's nothing I can do about that. And I've accepted families' decisions. They've all told me now, we're not a family anymore. And so I'm like, where is this coming from? I mean, you don't need to tell somebody. If for the last 10 years you've excluded somebody from your parties, from your family gatherings, from your children spending time with them, and then you turn around and say, oh, the children made that choice, that's wrong. Because as the parents, you encouraged it. You helped them. You didn't say, oh, why don't you include Auntie Belinda? Or why don't we include Auntie Belinda this year? Or why don't we take Belinda with us? So you supported that. And that was your decision. Just like you tell children it's okay for the parents to be naked in front of you. That is not the way that I was raised. So if my nieces tell me that, I'll say, no, it's not right. You mustn't be, your parents or your aunties and uncles mustn't be naked in front of you. And they'll be like, oh, but this one said, I say, I don't care what this one said to you. I am telling you it's not right. And if that means it's going to create a conflict between me and other people in the family or extended family, then it's good. Because there are certain things that children need to be protected from, and then we need to educate them and raise them up. And that's part of my responsibility. So if people want to tell me they're not my family anymore, they don't need to. If you take somebody to the police station, do you think that you still remain family? You don't. Nobody in their right minds takes a daughter or takes a sister or an aunt to the police station. Nobody would do that. So, yes, we're not a family. I'm grateful if they help me with some money till I can come up and pay them back. But they're absolutely right. If they don't want to be my family, nobody is going to force them to be my family. I know who's family for me. I know which cousins are there for me. I know when my brother's there for me. And if people want to make their holidays and confirm all their plans after everything is made, that's not family. What about my life? What about my commitments? I mean, if somebody is coming to spend time, don't they think that I also want to see them? People can have a whole month with someone and then they'll sit and cry because they're gone. But I can have one day with somebody and that's supposed to be more than enough. And they all get supported in that by all the elders in the family. When they have their parties, all the elders come from America, from all over to support them. They're spending money like water, they get supported in it. They're going on holidays and they can't pay their rent, they get supported in it. So, I mean, for me, I don't get supported. If I had to do the things they did, I can assure you, even my own mother would have let me go to jail. So to me, that's not a family. I've done right by my country, by Zimbabwe, by Canada, by South Africa, and this is my home. Canada is my home. So if I can't get a job here, obviously I want to take a job somewhere else because I want to come up in life financially. I want to do well financially. And God sees everything. God sees into my heart. God sees into their heart. What may appear bitterness to them is my love for God. And if my mother sees me as a bitter person, that's on her. It's not on me. Because if I had the money, I would have bought a house by now, a property with land around it so I could sit in my own backyard. I would use that money. I wouldn't just keep it in the bank. For what? So it can sit there and I can die one day and say, oh, I saved all my money. I would travel first class, forget about third class. I would enjoy it because money is like snow. It melts. That's why in that Elvis movie that they were making fun of Colonel Tom Parker because they were saying, oh, they're making snow. Because the snow melts and then it turns into water and it's gone. You can make more money, but you can't make more time. You can't get your health back. Those things come from God. And that's the leadership that I'm talking about. When you look at leadership, it's not about the money that you're making. Yes, it's good to have money and it's good to enjoy it and to help other people and to build up our lives. But there are some people who are filthy rich. They're so rich, they'll take that bottle of champagne and they'll throw it over their watch. And they waste their money and they waste other people's money. It's our politicians that do it. So that's what we can learn from the John Maxwell. Again, it's all Bible-based teaching. and it's reflecting on our own lives and what our lives are for us and for other people. And I told my mother, if I had to live my life over, I would leave her in Zimbabwe, because I got nothing but grief from the extended family and from her, and my sister and my brother-in-law got all the support. I would have left her because they didn't want to sponsor her. I told them, I'll give you the money, you sign the papers and bring her. They said no. So without me, she wouldn't be here, but I get treated the worst by everybody. I get told, you are not family, we are not family. I would have left her there. She would have been better off in Zimbabwe, because she came here and all I got was misery. I didn't get supported in my studies for my education to become a spiritual director by anybody in the family. I didn't get supported for my career aspirations. I didn't get supported for what I want to do and accomplish. In fact, she deliberately did it in a way because she didn't have all the memories with the family. She did it in a way that I got left out of everything. And she told me, nobody likes you. I said to her, you're talking nonsense, they do like me. She said, no, nobody likes you. So I'm like, you know what, I can't deal with this anymore. I said goodbye to my mother. I told her I love you and I'll miss you, but I'm not willing to put up with this anymore. I don't deserve to be treated in a cruel way, because I have not done anything to deserve it. Not to my mother, not to the police, not to the politicians. Instead of doing what they did to me, they should have done it to Credit Suisse, and they should have done it to the people who are accusing me of being fixated and obsessed with them, not to me. And I'm praying that God will give me that break and bless me financially, because I want to give them their money, because that's what they love. They love their money. And my Aunt Delise is absolutely right. I'm sponging off people. And it's an awful way to live, especially when you know, like I do, she may not see it, but I know I'm capable of holding a job, I'm capable of traveling, I'm capable of making good decisions. It's an awful way to live.